Hey everybody, Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro, here at the beautiful Grand Vista Marriott in Orlando, Florida, where I own and operate my teaching business under the Shade Tree. Oh, let me tell you something that was interesting. So I know this guy. I forgot what it's called, Too Simple Golf, something of that nature. But I was having a conversation with him back and forth about something that he had said in a golf swing. Now, he said something to this the degree is that you want the trail arm to go forward and you don't want it to go down. Well, I called him out on that, and I called him out on that because a post shortly after that, cause and effect, he starts speaking about trying to slow the trail hip down. Well, here's what happens is that when your arm goes forward, because when it goes forward, because of the scapula coming around, protracting, it's going to pull you out. So that was the only reason he was making it. He probably didn't know it, but that's the only reason he came back with the video saying, hey, you got to slow, the trail hip down in a sense if you're trying to do it. Because why, people? The simple fact is that you can't hit a golf ball. I don't care if it's you, me, and God Almighty. You can't hit a golf ball unless you get this club up and you bring it back down. If you strap something to your side, you're still turning and getting that club up, and you still got to turn and bring it back down. It's non-negotiable. You can't get away from it. You, me, nobody else. So when I called him out on it, of course, normally he has like a one quick one or two little responses, then he disappears. But this time, he kept going back and forth because, like I said, I made sure to educate him on some things that, is that unfortunately, that old thing of like, well, everybody does this and everybody does their way or whatever. No, it's about finding what's the right way. What are the fundamentals? And as I have broken you all down with those, and I keep saying them over and over, in a sense, the dead fingers is a fundamental. You just lock that in there. And the anatomical ends, we know that. I'm giving you the path of where the club goes. It's always underneath the head and over top of the feet. So that's there. So he also mentioned to me is that, well, people don't want to be confused. Well, I'm telling you, you're right. People don't want to be confused. That's why I've written top down to get rid of the confusion, because the simple fact is, it's turn this, turn that. And it's like, when does the club go up? Well, and when I use words like scapula, when I use the words like the dead fingers, and as I said before, the reason I use the word dead fingers is because, like I said, if you figure something out, then you get to call it whatever you want. And I wrote the book on it, and I call it, and it's the dead fingers, and and that's here to stay. But the thing is, and he also mentioned that, about my stuff being complicated, and then use words like, vertical weight shift or whatever, which basically, I guess that's jumping. And if that ain't confusing somebody, I don't know what is. And then how can you say something is confusing when the scapula controls the arms? And all you have to do, any good teacher, all you have to do is just go do some research to take a look and see what the scapula is. And you'll see that the scapula in itself is more important than the pelvis. Because as the saying goes, in a sense, I can put these up here, I could do this and never swing the club. But the moment I start swinging the club, then all of a sudden now the body just reacts to it. People, you cannot swing the golf club without the use of the scapula. And it's more important to study the scapula than it is to study your hip joints and your hip sockets and your pelvis and all that stuff. Because the swinging of the arms with all the big muscles and everything that's inside of our back is going to make the hip sockets move. Now, I think that when you're starting from that ground up, you're doing it backwards. And that's the easy way out. Yes, does it take a little bit of studying to get it? Yes, because once you get it and you take the time to study and understand what's actually swinging, then the swinging motion in itself becomes really a simple action, because all you're doing is taking it up, eventually taking it up, and then bringing it back down. And then you just learn to get, you know, and don't get me wrong, you know, are there movements? Yes. Are there movements that you're like, okay, you learn how to sequence them up? Yes. But when you got a pitcher, when you got someone swinging a tennis racket or anything else, it takes a moment to put those sequences together. And when you put those sequences together, then all of a sudden everything falls in place. And here's the point of why those sequences will naturally fall in place, because what you are doing is conducive to the task. So if this ball is on the ground and I'm trying to hit that ball, and all I'm doing is keep taking this arm up and bringing it back down, keep taking them both up and bringing them back down, up and bringing it back down, eventually the body and the movements, regardless if you know what they completely are going to fall in place. That's what creates your eye-hand coordination. Not hand-eye coordination, eye-hand coordination, because it's the eyes that see it that tells the hands where to go. Now, that's another big confusion in golf, always talking about hand-eye coordination, because now you're trying to move your hands and then make your eyes see it. It don't work that way.